Well, that was crazy. Steelers win 29-24. They almost give it away. Chris Boswell missed a 37-yard chip shot to his standards, giving the Lions a chance to go down the field and win the game late to save their season. And on literally the last play of the game, madness ensued. An offensive pass interference call on Amon-Ra St. Brown with time expiring leads to the Steelers winning this football game 29-24. Securing their 22nd straight winning season in the Steel City, or non-losing season, I should say. And now the pressure is on the Baltimore Ravens to match what the Steelers are doing. Welcome into the Steelers Talk postgame show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. That was one of the craziest games I've ever seen unfold. Steelers game or not in the National Football League. And we're going to be covering every single Steelers game for the rest of the season, not only with our post-game coverage that we're doing right now for you guys, but also with our live watch party coverage for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm recording this on the Steelers Talk watch party here in Week 16, so make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for extensive post-game coverage for every single Steelers game this year. Then we get to the game, man, and early on, Steelers offense struggles. Kind of like last week against Miami, but the defense holds strong like they did against Miami. Then, you get hot at the end of the second quarter. You get a touchdown, a miraculous touchdown to Kenny Gainwell, and you tie the game going into halftime, 10-10. Then you get a couple really good drives. You dominate the time of possession in the third quarter. You had the ball for 14 minutes of the 15-minute third quarter. That's how much you dominated the time of possession there. Multiple long drives, and then you get a couple really long touchdown runs, getting up by multiple scores versus Detroit multiple times. But in the fourth quarter, man, Jared Goff just came alive, and there was nothing the Steelers did to slow down the Lions' passing game. Goff ended with 364 passing yards and 3 touchdowns and no picks. Steelers' run defense did do a good job. They held David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs to a combined 16 rushing yards today, some of the better performances in that regard. Thought the pass rush played well today. And before the fourth quarter, kind of like that Miami game last week, this Steelers defense put 3 really, really good quarters together. And then they made the play that they needed to make at the end of the game, or maybe the Lions gave you the play that you needed at the end of the game. But a win is a win, Steelers Nation, and now the Steelers get this win that nobody thought that they could get. Everybody in the national media saying Steelers defense can't stop the Lions, all this different stuff, and I guess at the end of the game they couldn't. But this Steelers offense puts up 29 points and another good performance for the black and gold. Do have some injury updates here for you guys. Brandon Echols left this game in the first half with a groin injury. He's been so good in the slot for the Steelers. Jalen Ramsey had to finish the game as the slot corner. Groin injuries can be tough, man. I would say there's a pretty low chance Brandon Echols plays next week against Cleveland. It'll be interesting to see what their plan is at slot corner next week in Cleveland. I'm guessing Ramsey will play that position with Chuck Clark getting the start at safety. Then another injury, Calvin Austin III left this game with a hamstring injury, did not return. Scotty Miller came in and made some nice plays. We'll talk about him later in the show here, but definitely keep your eye on the hamstring injury for CA3. My guess is he probably doesn't play next week, and Roman Wilson might be in line to get a helmet for the first time in the last in this month, essentially, the last month of football. So let's give out some game balls here, and we'll start with Kenny Gainwell. I mean, this guy, absolutely incredible. 50 yards receiving, 78 yards on the ground. Once again, a 100-plus yard performance from Kenny Gainwell. And he made one of the craziest catches I have ever seen in my life to tie the football game with seconds left on the clock in the first half. I mean, he was interfered with. He's falling to the ground. He catches it with one arm. He gets up, and he has the presence of mind to run into the end zone, get the touchdown. And, that was a 4-point swing at the end of the first half. You end up winning this game by 5, but Gainwell continues to play very well and catch the ball well out of the backfield, run good routes, all that different stuff. Really, really lucky that he is a Pittsburgh Steeler, and at this point, I don't see any way that he is not back on this football team in 2026. Then Jaylen Warren, both running backs get a game ball today because Warren had 2 massive touchdowns, almost like 45-yard touchdowns there. I don't know what the exact yardage was on his 2 house calls in the second half, but he ends the game with 143 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So much for the Steelers not having any run game, right, Colin Cowherd? What an absolute clown that guy is, dude. The Steelers put up 230 yards rushing today. 143 of that came via Jaylen Warren. Also, Warren put up 8 yards on 2 catches in the receiving game. He averaged over a first down per rush today. The Steelers running back duo is, a special group. It really is, and it gives this team its X factor, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this group and this duo is capable of doing down the stretch. Then Scotty Miller, man, he hasn't played really all season, let alone got targeted. Today, he did. He got targeted 3 times, caught all 3 times he was targeted for 19 yards, picked up multiple big first downs on, weighty downs, 4th down and 2, 3rd down and whatever. Like, Scotty Miller came in, and he was a contributor today. Even though Roman Wilson might get a helmet next week because of the injury to Calvin Austin III, I would still expect Scotty Miller to maybe get playing time over him because, he showed off a little bit of a connection with Aaron Rodgers. And for somebody that's been so patient, such a team guy, to come in and get those big-time reps and those big-time catches, I feel good for Scotty Miller today, man. He gets a game ball. Then Jack Sawyer, man. Couldn't forget Jack Sawyer. Played a really good game today, had a TFL. He was really good setting the edge in the run game, and he was a big reason why Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery weren't able to run all over you. Had 5 tackles, 1 for a loss, hit the quarterback twice. Not the most dynamic pass rusher in the world, all right? But, we kind of knew that about Jack Sawyer. We just expected him to hold up. That was the expectation in the standard, is that he would hold up, and Alex Highsmith and the interior guys were going to win. And they did quite a bit in this football game before they got tired there in the 4th. But Sawyer certainly played well. It's looking like Nick Herbig could be returning to action next week. We'll have to see what his status is going into next week against Cleveland, but really good job. Hats off to Jack Sawyer. Then the final game ball here goes to the head coach here in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin, where he has set this team up now with 3 straight wins late in the season to, lock up the division next week. We'll see what happens with Patriots versus Ravens later tonight. But if the Ravens lose versus the Patriots tonight, the Steelers, all they have to do is beat the Cleveland Browns with Shadur Sanders at quarterback and no Quinshon Judkins, and they win the division before they even have to play the Ravens again in Week 18. So, great job by Mike Tomlin. Obviously, he has been here for the large majority of the seasons during this long run of non-losing seasons here in Pittsburgh. And he deserves credit for that. Now, obviously, that's not everything. You want to not be the team known for non-losing seasons. You want to be the team that's known for winning Super Bowls, and this team hasn't been in contention for Super Bowls in quite a while. But with this team playing its best football down the stretch, winning against teams that most people thought they couldn't win against, most people thought Miami was going to win, most people thought Detroit was going to win, most people thought they were going to lose to Baltimore as well. The Steelers keep just exceeding expectations under Mike Tomlin this year, especially late in the year. And it's looking, like a pretty decent chance that this team's going to have a home playoff game this year. And with this roster, I've been saying it all season, I think they have the best chance to win a playoff game with this roster than any team since the Killer Bee era. So who's your MVP? Let me know down there in the comments section. Who is today's MVP for the Steelers? Who are you going to give it to? Was it Aaron Rodgers? He had a good game today. 27 for 41 with a touchdown, no picks. Would you give it to Jaylen Warren? That's probably who I'm giving it to. 2 house calls and 143 yards. Kenny Gainwell for that crazy catch for the touchdown at the end of the first half. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section for today's pin question. Just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at GLD. Well, I'll tell you about our sponsor today. I'll answer today's MVP question down there in the comments. With that, let's have a word from our sponsor at GLD. And let's be real, guys. Buying men's jewelry can be an absolute nightmare. Most of the time, it's low-quality junk that snapped after a week, or it was insanely overpriced with ridiculous markups. That's why I rock with GLD. Use code CHAT to get 50% off at GLD.com. GLD has completely changed the game in men's jewelry. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank, and unlike a lot of other companies, GLD only uses real gold. None of that cheap stuff. Every single stone is meticulously hand set, plus their proprietary production process makes sure you're getting the highest quality jewelry possible. You can literally see and feel the difference. And guys, I actually have my GLD pendant with me here today. Give you guys a little bit of a look at this piece. I really like the real gold that's on here, and the gems really sparkle as well. You can tell with the heft in your hand that this is high quality stuff. It's going to last me the rest of my life, and I absolutely love it. I usually wear it on the watch parties here, but I decided not to wear it today because I'm wearing a hoodie. But you guys know the feeling when you guys wear a great piece of jewelry. It just hits different. It elevates your entire fit. The confidence, the compliments you get, the way you carry yourself, all changes instantly with that one piece of jewelry. And GLD has everything from chains, pendants, rings, earrings, even fully iced out watches if you're Shadur Sanders. Whatever your style, though, you guys can get covered with our friends at GLD today. And listen, don't just take my word for it. Over 2 million customers and 50,000 five-star reviews back it up. Not to mention it's worn by some of the biggest names out there like Justin Bieber, Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, A$AP Rocky, and a ton more. And the best part, every single piece from GLD is guaranteed for life. It's literally built to last the rest of your life, just like your love for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Work hard and change the game with our friends at GLD. Right now, GLD is making holiday shopping easy for you. For a limited time only, our new customers get an insane deal. Use code CHAT to get 50% off at GLD.com. That's 50% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. And a big thank you to GLD for sponsoring tonight's edition of Steelers Talk. So I'm going to keep the takeaways to a minimum here. I'm just going to talk about each side of the ball. All right, the offense obviously started cold but finished hot. And this is, the second week in a row that this has happened. I think Art needs to be better on the script. I think Rodgers has to be better on the script moving forward. But this Steelers team, man, once they get to that final possession in the second quarter, they just find something. Rodgers, unlocks the offense a little bit. They end up scoring, and then they come out of halftime, and they're feeling good. Vibes are high. They get another score, or they have another good drive. And, the offense really had successful drives, I think maybe on every single drive in the second half in this game. You had over 480 yards of total offense today. You split it pretty much right down the middle, so really good stuff there for the Steelers. And you dominated the time of possession battle in this game as well. Maybe not dominated. The Lions had the ball quite a bit in the fourth quarter, but you still won the time of possession battle for the second week in a row. You got the run game going today with some really explosive runs in that second half. The run blocking was incredible in that second half performance. Rodgers, multiple third down and long and very long completions. Adam Thielen in the first half today, in early in the second half, had a number of third and long completions to move the chain. Scotty Miller had made contributions. This was a full team effort on offense today. I think that this offense is, hitting their stride at the right time with 3 straight good performances. So kudos to them. Now, before we talk about the defense here, click that thumbs up icon to celebrate this Week 16 win here in Pittsburgh. It's 3 straight here in Pittsburgh, and you're at 9-6 right now, man. You're 1 win away from your 3rd consecutive double-digit win season under Mike Tomlin. So if you're excited about that, click that thumbs up icon. Now, the defense waned late. They start out really hot. First 3 quarters, unbelievable stuff. Got that safety to start the second half in their first defensive drive. Kyle Duggar with the sack. That was really the only true impact play. They didn't turn the football over today. So the Lions, a team that has only turned the ball over 8 times this year, they definitely were true to form in that regard today. But the defense, I thought, in the first 3 quarters, pass rush was definitely getting home. The pass coverage was really good. Did a really good job. But then when they opened things up in the passing game in the second half, the Lions really got going. Jared Goff was a revelation today in the fourth quarter, and they scored 2 of those touchdowns, and they had another successful drive. They had a number of successful downfield chunk plays. That's something the Steelers can certainly clean up here. Their fourth quarter defense has not been great this year. By any stretch of the imagination. So hopefully they can clean that up in the weeks to come. But listen, man, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how pretty it is. A win is a win. And now the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football are feeling that pressure, because if they lose tonight against the New England Patriots, that means all the Steelers need to do next week is win against Cleveland, and they clinch the division. Next week, the Ravens play on Saturday before the Steelers even play. The next time the Steelers play a football game, they might already be division champs. They might be wearing a hat and T-shirt in the hotel in Cleveland if Baltimore loses next Saturday night. So, listen, man, a win is a win. Good teams find ways to win, and this team certainly played well enough today, in my opinion, to win the football game. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this team can do in the weeks to come, and hopefully a home playoff game in 3 weeks' time. So point the finger for me down there in the comments section. Or never mind, not point the finger. F Ponzi in the chat. Grade today's performance for the Steelers, A, B, C, D, or F. Obviously, you don't love that fourth quarter performance on defense, so I'll give them a B plus. You get the win, you make the stop late, all that stuff. The offense really turned it on. I'm going to give them a B for this game, all right, because the offense didn't play well in the first half. Defense kind of floundered there in the fourth quarter, but he did enough, and he made enough plays to get the victory today. So I'll give them a solid B. All right, so some final thoughts here, man. 3 straight wins, and, there was nobody in the national media that thought the Steelers could win these 3 games. Baltimore, everyone picked the Ravens. Miami, everyone thought they're going to run all over us in our home stadium. Didn't happen. Then today, everyone thought Jahmyr Gibbs and Monty were going to run all over us. They get a combined 16 yards. Now, it wasn't a perfect game, and none of these 3 games have been perfect games, but the Steelers are finding ways to win, and they're finding their groove, and the offense looks as good as it's looked all season long. The defense, at least earlier in games, is looking as good as it's looked all season long. So you're probably going to get Nick Herbig back. You're going to get TJ Watt back for the playoffs, it sounds like. So listen, man, certainly some negatives to take away from this game, but a lot of positives as well, especially the fact that you get this win tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens on Sunday Night Football. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. Going to have post-game reactions all throughout the rest of this season, so if you don't want to miss a single one, click that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.